I have I've been president of my local community foundation. I've started a fund for women and girls called Annie's Fund. I've been on the Resource Center for Independent Living Board, the Library Board, done all those things that kind of, if you care about your community and you've got the time and you think you have the ability to get involved, like all of you do. But my story is really one of a guy who saw opportunity. I've been healthy all my life. My dad gave me a good work ethic. I applied myself, and I've done well, and I'm proud of that. And the point of my telling you that is because what concerns me is that all the things that were in place for me when I came back to upstate New York to allow me to do the things I've done and have the great life I've had, I do not see there for my children. I have a little boy, 3, Emerson, and a daughter, Grace Catherine. I got married when I was 50, so I admit I'm a bit of a cradle robber. Never been married before, but I am very happy, very content in my life, and I realize that Thomas Jefferson was right, that people who have skills, people like you and me, who go to Congress or go into government, they add their wisdom, they commit to the time, and they add the value of their life experience, whatever that is, and they go home someday. And what I see in our country today is almost an aristocracy of politicians, people who go there and build careers, and we wind up with these short-term 2- and 4-year solutions that promise us things we want to hear and talk about and things we want in our lives, but what they don't do is the number one thing government officials are paid to do, and that is fix our problems. And what you wind up with is not solutions for the next generation, but as I said, 2- and 4-year solutions that really have compounded our problems. That we have structural problems in this country: Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid. We have a $1 trillion deficit in pension programs in this country. All of those things have been compromised in ways to give us what we want, not tell us what we want to hear, not plan, not build a sustainable future, but rather pander to us. And I think that's fundamentally how we've gotten where we are. I mean, there's a lot more explanation to it than that, but I know when I came back from Reed College, and I graduated in economics, put myself through school. I did roofing and siding, which I'm pretty good at. I haven't done it in a while, but that's how I put myself through college. I graduated with honors in economics, came back to upstate New York, and it was a place I could build and grow and do all the things I did. I have never seen a new year where I am that was better than the preceding year. And that distresses me, that the growth and prosperity that I enjoyed isn't there. And how do we know that's true? I mean, you guys know that because you're business people, and you just have to walk around to know that. But I think that we have seen, I know that we've seen 1.5 million people leave our state in the last 10 or so years, and you'll lose a couple, maybe 1 or 2 congressional seats because of that. And that is a symptom of the disease that New York has. And the disease that New York has, it may seem like the deficit, but the truth is the country and New York State, the disease they have is spending. And of course the symptom are the deficits that we see. Each person in this room owes about $45,000 in current account deficit, which is our current account deficit is about $13.5 trillion, $14 trillion, and growing. And out in the future, it's someplace between $150,000 and $200,000 per person, depending on who you talk to. So, that's a little background on why I'm here. But you're business people, so I want to say one thing to you, or 2 things to you, that if I can leave you with any idea that I have that I fundamentally believe, that is that this country and Cortland, this state, this world cannot do well if you people do not do well. That this country is busy killing the goose, and I see us as the goose. That free enterprise creates 70–80% of all the jobs in this country. Free enterprise pays people that is 70 or 80% of our economy. And that is a fundamental problem now, because as taxes grow and the cost and burden and regulation and everything else of business that is placed on businesses and individuals continues to grow, you are not able to unleash the vitality, the energy, the entrepreneurial spirit that allows you to do what you really want to do. And I'd suggest to you it's not really about money. A lot of people I know are well off and would do what they do because they love it, because it's in their blood to be business people, to be aggressive, to get up every day, and to feel the juices going that make them do what they like to do. I was like that, and I actually became discouraged to a point where I frankly said, I'm okay where I am. There's only risk going forward. I'm going to stop. So about 4 years ago, I stopped my business. It's still, my sister owns it now, and she runs it under a different name, and she's doing okay. The other thing, the other second point that I want to leave you with is that the growth of government is fundamentally incompatible with your success, with the private sector success. Just keep that in your head, because as their costs go up, your opportunities to thrive go down. Everybody knows that. And I think that the reason these elections are, and people are paying attention now, there's a certain amount of urgency in everybody's mind. People feel abandoned by their government. They feel as though it's out of control, and they feel like there's a limit to the abuse that they can take. But yet at the same time, we don't know who really to complain to. We have two parties who look like they're at war with themselves, who seem to leave us out of the equation. I get all of that, and when I drive around and I talk to businesses, and I go to one or two a week, whether it's a manufacturing place or something else, and the fundamental problem isn't that there isn't enough money in the economy. Interest rates are near zero, we know that. It is the fact that people have lost confidence in their government. You and I, as business people, we need to be able to look out into the future and plan and say, these are the rules, these are the regulations, I can invest here, I can commit here, I can build here and grow because I have some idea of what the future's going to bring. We don't have that anymore. What we have is people who are saying what they should say, is that we're afraid, we're concerned, we don't know where we're going, and we need to hunker down because we all protect our families first. And that brings me to another, what I think is an important point, why I'm doing this too, is that we run the risk of being the first generation in the history of this country to pass forward less than we got. My dad gave me a work ethic and a desire to take care of myself. I was never taught to be happy. I was taught to be responsible, to be respectful. But more than anything, I was taught to be self-reliant. I think that we are raising a population today of people who have expectations that are not born out of their own desire to produce, but are born out of the idea that somehow if you're an American, you're born with a prize. You are born with a prize, but the prize should be opportunity, equal education, equal access across races and creeds, etc. And if we allow people or reinforce that notion, we actually degrade human dignity. I think my life isn't good today because I've made money. My life is particularly good today because I did it myself and I enjoyed that. Like the Craigers and what they're doing, the risks they're taking. It's amazing to watch. That vitality, that energy that I have is being supplanted by expectations, I think, by people that are wholly unrealistic, that are not born out of a desire for themselves, but rather expectations that somehow they're owed something. And I don't want to live in a welfare state or an entitlement state. I want to live in an opportunity state, the one I grew up with. America is exceptional for a number of reasons. And one of them is that people have always understood that the free enterprise system, even with all its problems, is really the engine of growth in this country. And we are busy unwinding it in a desire to do good. I don't talk about President Obama and Nancy Pelosi negatively. I see their goals and mine fundamentally the same. People have a roof over their head, a good job, a good education, and all of those things, and good health care. The question is, what's a sustainable way to get there? Well, there are